Right now at noon, investigators revealed the timeline of events on the night of a fatal hit and run in Cherokee County.
And while most of us are dry right now, we do have some thunderstorm activity out to our west. We'll take a look at that and that forecast coming up.
Plus, we hear from a Pittsburgh native now going to school in the area where Hurricane Milton hit.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, Northeast Oklahoma authorities investigate the discovery of a body. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office confirms the discovery of a man's body near 22nd Northeast at the Tar Creek Bridge. The Grand River Dam Authority has requested assistance from the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation at what they call a suspicious death crime scene. The Miami Police Department is also working the case. I'll bring you more details as this story develops on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, unsealed court documents reveal a more clear timeline of the hit and run fatality that happened back in August in Cherokee County. Rocco Joseph of Joplin is charged with felony leaving the scene of a fatal crash where a pedestrian, 68-year-old Gary LaTurner of Galena, was killed. Now, Joseph's father, Dr. John H. Joseph, is charged with leaving the scene of a fatality accident and contributing to a child's misconduct or deprivations. The Kansas Highway Patrol obtained search warrants for the cell phones of Joseph and his father. The GPS locations compared with multiple security cameras put the son at the scene of the fatal crash, meeting with his father in Missouri, and then both returning together to observe the Kansas crash scene 40 minutes later. LaTurner's body was found in the south ditch of K66 10 hours after the crash. We have more on the history of this case as well as extensive court documents on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, most of us are dry and temperatures warming out there. Quick look from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. Still have some clouds here and there, still got a little bit of haze as well. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh, same situation, not as many clouds visible from right here, but with that haze, it also makes it a little difficult to see. But we do have some thunderstorm activity. Well, that was supposed to zoom in, it did not, but we do have thunderstorm activity into parts of Elk County and rolling into parts of Montgomery County as well. Nothing strong, nothing severe, but it is something that is bringing at least some kind of rainfall to folks. Yesterday, a couple degrees below normal to start, but several degrees above normal, not quite to record levels, but still very hot, and it's going to continue to stay that way. Already 80 in Joplin, 78 in Pittsburgh, and from the northeast to the southwest, temperatures are warm. We go upper 70s and low 80s. Heading through the rest of the evening, we're expecting for most of us clear skies, a few scattered thunderstorms though between now and say 6 o'clock in parts of southeast Kansas and Oklahoma. Temperatures falling back to the mid 60s by about 11 o'clock. The heat continues to increase, and then we have a cold front this weekend. Details on that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Florida's governor says the extent of the damage from Hurricane Milton will become more clear throughout the day, but the deadly storm appears not to be as catastrophic as expected. Still, at least 4 people are dead. Power is out to more than 3 million customers, and the threat of flooding in some areas remains. Manuel Bajorquez reports from Orlando.
Police and fire crews waded through flooded streets in Daytona Beach Thursday, helping people and pets get to safety. Across Florida, first responders carried out rescues through the night, including in Tampa, where a tree fell on a house with 15 people inside.
It's okay. You're okay.
Strong winds and heavy rain from Hurricane Milton pounded Tampa, causing serious flooding. But officials say the city was spared catastrophic storm surge when the Category 3 storm took a turn, making landfall about 70 miles south.
The storm was significant, but thankfully this was not the worst case scenario. The storm did weaken before landfall, and the storm surge, as initially reported, has not been as significant overall as what was observed for Hurricane Helene.
With the state still reeling from Helene, Milton brought new destruction.
You guys out there want to do something, start praying. That's the only thing that's going to fix this.
It tore the roof off Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, and fire officials say it likely sparked this house fire in Brooksville, Florida.
Oh, violent tornado, violent.
The storm is also blamed for an outbreak of tornadoes, some of them deadly, even before it made landfall. Power lines are down, leaving millions without electricity. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Orlando.
Now, before the storm, Tropicana Field had been used as the staging area for first responders. One Pittsburgh, Kansas native who attends college in Daytona Beach says she was ordered to evacuate while her mother was visiting there. The duo says they watched as the projected severity of the storm grew. They say they got out just at the right time.
The weather just completely shifted and it got really windy and the tide started coming and it almost looked like the ocean was a little angry.
Yeah.
So we went back to our hotel and we had already been watching the weather, but we realized, okay, this is probably like it's time to we went ahead and booked her ticket.
Now they say they are frequently checking on their friends still in Florida. And as Florida residents now assess the damage of Hurricane Milton, people are still recovering from the damage of Helene. Workers with the Carthage Water and Electric Plant traveled to Tallahassee to respond to the damage from Helene. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
These folks are boots on the ground, immediately responding to the emergency.
Linemen from Carthage Water and Electric Plant in Carthage traveled to Tallahassee before Hurricane Helene hit in anticipation of the damage.
A lot of tall, 80, 100-foot tall pine trees that are down. Obviously, they drag everything down with them.
The linemen's main focus was to help Tallahassee residents regain power.
Through the night, you hear the wind and the rain, you do hear that some. You're a little bit sheltered just because of the hotel you're in or wherever it is you're staying. And then when we woke up the next morning, we had 53,000 people out of power.
CWEP sent 6 linemen to Tallahassee to help out with Helene, and now they have 4 linemen in Orlando to help with Hurricane Milton.
It takes a lot of time for the water in Orlando to dissipate to get to a point where they can actually go in and make some of the needed repairs.
Be devastating. Milton looks like it is. It could turn. It just kind of depends on, so they're afraid of water, they're afraid of wind and trees.
Crews from Carthage Water and Electric Plant worked 16-hour days working to restore power to the affected areas. Reporting in Carthage, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Members of the CWEP crew left Missouri on Monday to go to Orlando and respond to Hurricane Milton. Well, coming up, a candidate for U.S. Senate makes a stop in southwest Missouri. And later, we're making Ben's chili dog in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. A candidate for the U.S. Senate made a stop in southwest Missouri last night. Lucas Coons hosted a rally at VFW Post 534 in Joplin. The 13-year Marine veteran is running for the Senate seat currently held by Josh Hawley. At the event last night, Coons talked about his platform of running for everyday Missourians.
The biggest thing on me in this campaign is that the only people I want to owe are everyday Missourians like those in that old neighborhood. So I take no money from corporate PACs, no money from federal lobbyists, no money from big pharma executives. None of these people who've been buying off our, weak-minded, ambitious, hungry politicians and using them to strip our communities for parts.
After 3 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, Lucas was stationed at the Pentagon where he served on the Joint Staff. Well, some Cherokee County groups teamed up to assist people in need of low-income housing. The Cherokee County Health Department and the USDA Rural Development Program will host an event next Tuesday on how to fill out applications for Section 502 and 504 housing. Event organizers hope to also provide information on the financial impacts of low-income housing and on low-income energy assistance.
But it's best to go through one of the representatives from one of the different offices through HUD. And with that said, that is why we are hosting this meeting, so that individuals can become aware of what the programs are and they can come and they can ask questions for the various representatives.
The event will be held at the Crossroads Christian Church on October 15th at 2 p.m. Last month, we told you about the 13-year-old Joplin teen Drake May and the art club he helped create for other kids. Well, yesterday, Drake and members of the art club took a field trip to the Joplin Humane Society. Now, the group got to see how the JHS operates, where the animals stay, and found out how to volunteer.
Little tour to see if their animal got adopted, and hopefully they did. But if not, they are going to put a copy of their artwork with the animal. So if they do get adopted, hopefully, then they get to take the artwork home with them as well. The new owners get to take the artwork home.
The trip comes as a follow-up to last week's class where the kids practiced pet portraits. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Our week-long tour of Washington, D.C. continues with a smoking good treat. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this one.
But first, we are keeping an eye on a cold front coming in this weekend. We got to get from here to there. We'll talk about the forecast in between when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So some of us right now getting some shower and thunderstorm activity, while most of us look like that from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. We've got mostly clear skies, some clouds here and there, a little bit of haze as well, and temperatures continuing to warm. So here's a look at those showers and storms beginning to weaken a bit. There was nothing strong or severe, but we had lightning activity with this earlier, and now we're not picking up any lightning, but we do have some rain to the east of Howard, west of Fredonia. Now this activity is actually pushing a little bit further east and very likely begin to fall apart before too much longer, but may make it as far east as, say, the 59 corridor from Erie to Parsons. But you can see where it kind of flared up, and we had a number of lightning strikes, a little over a dozen within a small area here. But it's beginning to weaken, but it is trying to push east, so we'll see exactly what we get out of it. And a lot of the model data, just because of the nature of these storms, has been having a hard time keeping up with them and what they're going to do, but we still have that opportunity for a stray shower or storm. Now, the better opportunities, even though they're still slight, like the one we're seeing now, are still going to remain off to the western part of the area in this green highlighted zone. So this is where our better shot of some isolated showers or storms will be. And again, like I said, with the model data, some of it earlier from the 11 o'clock a.m. update showed a few isolated storms even into the Missouri side of things. So we'll see exactly how it pans out. Regardless, though, unfortunately, not really expecting that much out of any of the activity that we see today. Going into our Friday in the morning, again, similar to today, off to the west, maybe a stray shower or storm. After that, we look to clear out, stay dry. It's going to be breezy as well for our Friday. Then as we head into Saturday, now overnight, initially, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies. Then those skies will begin to clear, and Saturday right now is set to be the hottest day that we'll see this week as temperatures push into the low 90s. And then as this stops at 1 o'clock Sunday, take a look at that. Then we got a couple of boundaries coming in, and that's going to help us with our temperatures as we head into the weekend and at least the first part of next week. Right now, though, it is 80 in Joplin. Got a few clouds out there. The wind is out of the south at about 5 miles an hour. Over in Pittsburgh, again, clear skies sitting at 80. Winds are calm and the air very dry. It's also why some of those storms are having a hard time just getting anywhere, because for the most part, we're very dry out there, which is why there's a number of burn bans. And again, no outdoor burning, no discarding smoking materials or anything else that might be flammable from your vehicle. We got temperatures upper 70s rather, and into the low 80s across the region. Of course, as you saw in the almanac, we should be in the low 70s. We're all pretty much already above that. We're going to continue to be that way today. Mid upper 80s for our highs. Southeast winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, falling back upper 50s, low 60s, southeast breeze 5 to 10. Now tomorrow, again, a stray shower or storm out west. Otherwise, skies will begin to clear, and we'll have southwest winds gusting at around 20 miles an hour. As we look down the road over the next 10 days, you can see low 90s Saturday. That boundary Sunday morning brings us down still above normal, but a little closer out there. But by Monday, look at that, low 40s Sunday night, mid-60s Monday, so we get another brief cool down Monday, Tuesday, and then even to Wednesday kind of, and we start to heat back up in the low 80s, and we are still watching what's looking like a slightly better chance of showers and storms as we head toward the end of next week. So we're still looking at that. Hopefully that stays on course.
That'd be great. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making Ben's chili dog in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, Howard is out of the Mr. Food Test kitchen this week, exploring dishes from Washington, D.C. Today, we're taking a trip to a landmark restaurant in our nation's capital to learn the recipe for Ben's chili dog.
Our tasty week-long tour of Washington, D.C. continues, and we haven't stopped for a minute. This morning, we took a brisk walk on the National Mall. which is often referred to as America's front yard. The mall is a park that connects the Capitol to the Lincoln Memorial. And as you would imagine, after all that sightseeing, we really worked up quite an appetite. So we headed over to Ben's Chili Bowl, which has been a landmark since 1958. Here we can find locals as well as politicians and celebrities rolling up their sleeves as they dig into the dish that has made Ben's famous. It starts off with a 1/4 pound of smoked sausage that's half pork, half beef, that's cooked to perfection on a griddle. From there, it goes into a steamed bun before getting topped with yellow mustard, lots of chopped onions, and smothered with Ben's signature chili sauce. And as we've seen over the years, lots of things have changed here in Washington, but thankfully, Ben's recipe for chili has remained the same since the day they opened. So when you visit DC, make sure you stop by Ben's. But until then, we've created a recipe for what we call Ben's Chili Dog, which we think is the next best thing to being here, and you can find it online. Now I'm off to explore more food finds. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a smoking good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, so as we head through the rest of today, again, upper 80s out there. A couple isolated storms out west, maybe 1 or 2 tomorrow. Low 90s Saturday. Cold front Sunday kicks us down into the mid 60s for Monday. Yeah, it's going to get cold compared to at least 91 degrees. And we'll turn around, start to warm up again. But again, still looking at some decent chances of some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms as we head toward the end of next week. So rain may be on the way.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah, 60s for highs.
I know.
Lows in the 40s.
I mean,
chilly.
that's
Yes.
fall to me, so I can get on board with that.
I agree with you. I love it.
Absolutely. What do you have for us later on, Dow?
Well, lots coming up at 5. For starters, today is World Mental Health Day, and this year's theme is prioritizing mental well-being in the workplace. Specifically, we're going to learn about how companies can improve and promote their employees' mental health and help cultivate a more positive environment. Plus, the Carthage Golf Course is hosting a first responders tournament to help raise money for the First Responder Children's Foundation. And Pitt State's going to begin providing autism evaluations for children ages 1 through 6. We're going to hear how this service will help families get a faster medical diagnosis for their young ones. Hope you join us. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dow. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.